work in the country under a central authority. Mr. H.F. Blandford was appointed meteorological reporter to the Government of India. The first Director General of Observatories was Sir John Elliot, who was appointed in May 1889 at Calcutta headquarters. The headquarters of IMD were later shifted to Shimla, then to Pune, and finally to New Delhi. IMD became a member of the World Meteorological Organization in 1949. IMD's services have extended to agriculture, aviation, disaster management, energy, health, hydrology, power, tourism, and other sectors. The Maharaja Swati Tirunal of Travancore started the Trivandrum Observatory in 1836 for both astronomical and meteorological work. In 1852, Mr. John Allen Brown, FRS, started to take magnetic observations to study terrestrial magnetism. It was divided into two sections, namely meteorological and astronomical, in 1927. In the same year, the meteorological section was recognized by Government of India as a Class 1 meteorological observatory and started sending the manual observations of the meteorological elements to IMD Pune telegraphically for weather forecasting. Pilot balloon ascent for the measurement of wind speed and direction of upper air was started in 1928. Meteorological section was taken over by the Government of India in 1951. Radius on day observations were started in 1956. This office had started issuing weather forecasts since 1963. Cyclone Warning Center started functioning from October 2018. Flood Meteorological Office started functioning from May 2021. Established in 1932, Trivandrum International Airport is the first international airport built in Kerala. Aviation Med-Stars services started in the year 1949 at Thiruvananthapuram. India Meteorological Department, with the mandate of providing public weather services, will complete 150 years of presence on 15th January 2025. Commemorating 150 years of IMD, we have gathered here for stakeholders meet on IMD's weather and climate services for Kerala and Lakshadweep. Now I would like to invite the guests to the dais. First of all, may I call upon Srimati Neeta K. Gopal, Scientist F and Head Meteorological Center, Thiruvananthapuram, to kindly occupy the dais. Madam, please. May I call upon Dr. D.S. Pai, Scientist G, India Meteorological Department, to kindly occupy the dais. Sir, please. May I call upon Honorable Secretary Dr. M. Ravichandran, Ministry of Earth Science, to kindly occupy the dais. Sir, please. May I call upon Principal Secretary Professor K.P. Sudhir, Kerala Government, Science and Technology, to kindly occupy the dais. Sir, please. A chief guest is yet to arrive and is informed that he's on the way and he'll arrive shortly. As light expels darkness, a solemn prayer casts away all fears, calms our souls and fills us with strength and positivity. Indeed, prayer invigorates us and guides our thoughts and actions towards harmony and goodwill. In that spirit, as we stand together in this auspicious gathering to connect with the divine through a beautiful prayer, I invite Srimati Amrita and team for invocation. Kindly rise.
स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
Thank you, Amrita and team. Lamp symbolizes enlightenment, knowledge, wisdom, and the removal of darkness. I invite the dignitaries on the dais to kindly step forward for the lamp lighting ceremony. Please, sir. I invite our chief guest, Dr. B. Ashok, IAS, Protection. I invite Srimati Neeta K. Gopal Madam, Scientist FN Head, MC Thiruvananthapuram, for the welcome address. Madam, please.
Good morning, everyone. Warm welcome to all, one and all, to this stakeholders meeting conducted as part of IMD's 150th year of establishment. Warm welcome to Kerala, Trivandrum, and the gods of own country. So my friend Suma has already briefed about the establishment of IMD, the beginning of meteorological services in India, and also that made my job very easy. So straight away I'll go to the responsibility. So there were a bit of delays because of the traffic and all. I'm sorry for the delayed start inconvenience caused. So we have with us Dr. B. Ashok IAS, the Agriculture Production Commissioner. He has kindly consented to be our chief guest for the function today. So we welcome you, sir, wholeheartedly. I'm profoundly happy to welcome Dr. M. Ravichandran, Secretary of MOS. He is our guardian in all senses, and with so much happiness, and I welcome on behalf of everyone gathered here to this meeting, sir. And then Professor K.P. Sudhir, he is Principal Secretary, Science and Technology to the Government of Kerala. He's a close contact for us, IMD people, for anything and everything. When it comes to state government of Kerala, any activity related to him, he's our first contact. And more than professional relationship, I think many in IMD has personal relationships also with him. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this meeting, sir. And then we have our beloved senior colleague, Dr. Pai. He's a scientist G, and today Dr. Mohapatra could not attend her meeting because of certain unexpected developments in weather especially. So he has conveyed his message to all, wishes to all, and he has asked me to convey the excuse also. So even in his absence, I know he will be present everywhere in the meeting, because he's totally involved in meteorology and weather services, so his presence will be felt everywhere by everybody. And so Dr. Pai would be chairing this meeting in his place, and he has graciously consented to chair this meeting. I'm so much thankful to you, sir, and welcome to this meeting for chairing the session. Then we have our ASFA, Shri Vishudhir Sahai. He's a very senior officer, consented to be here for taking part in this users meet here, and welcome you, sir. And then we have other officers from IMD and MOS. I'll go sequentially so that the stakeholders will know who is the contact person in the MOS institutions, in case later on they want to make any contact or interact with them. So we have Kabil Dev Meena, COA MOS with us. Welcome you, sir. And then Shri Santosh Kumar, DDG Admin IMD. Welcome, sir. And then Dr. K.S. Hosalikar is a very important person. He is the person responsible for the data, the climatology, the instrumentation. So he is, he would be a great, he will be taking a lot of, taking part in all these interactions, because many of you would be interested in asking or knowing about this IMD's data, the climatological values, the tables available, then the instrumentation, installation, everything. So Dr. Hosalikar is the responsible person for that. He is the head of Climate Research and Services, Pune, IMD Pune. So welcome, sir, for this meeting. And then Sri Gajendra Kumar is another important person in IMD. He's heading Upper Air Lab and also radar division. So when I say radar, it is in about weather radar. A lot of talks are in the air about the new radar coming up and all. So he's the person responsible for all that. And sir, welcome. And then we have from the stakeholders, Member Secretary KSDMA, I welcome him because he said his last moment he had some urgent engagement, so he excused himself, and he'll be with us in the afternoon session, but he will be represented by his colleagues Rajivan and Fahad. So they are there, and welcome to this meeting. And then we have the representation from Directorate of Health Service, then Fisheries Director Srimati Sophia, I guess she's there. No, yes, yeah, I've met her. Welcome, ma'am. And then Chief Agriculture Division Shri S.S. Nagesh from State Planning Board is here. Welcome, sir. And then Shri V. Ajit IPS, he is representing Kerala Police. Welcome, sir. And Then Dr. Ajit Kumar B, he is head of Department of Agriculture, Meteorology, College of Agriculture. Welcome, sir. And then we have Flight Lieutenant Yugala, representing Indian Air Force, Coast Guard Executive Officer Shri R. Girish Kumar, then Major Dilawar, Infantry Brigade, Pangod, Trivandrum. Welcome, sir. Then we have Hydrology Irrigation Department, Suja SS Joint Director, and Senior Geologist from GSA. Oh, and then I shouldn't be missing. We have Ambali Madam with us. She is the Deputy Director General of GSA. She's a very important person, in fact, because her confirmation was not there, so I missed. I'm sorry about that. Ma'am, welcome. Then we have representation from Groundwater Department also, and then Urban Design, Kerala Tourism Infrastructure is also being represented here. Then Kerala Highway Research Institute also is participating in this meeting. Then Tiruvandhuram Corporation, I think maybe for the first time somebody is, IMD is inviting, and they have very kindly agreed to be part of this meeting. Welcome, sir. And then we have other senior officers from the research institutes also. Dr. S. Suresh Babu, head ATR of SPL VSSC, and then Dr. Sadishan, Department of Atmospheric Science, CUSAD, and then Dr. Rajendran, head ICCS. So welcome you all, sir, for this meeting. So straight away, and we are already a bit late, so straight away we'll go to the program. Thank you, and welcome again, and expecting we'll have very useful and interactive sessions, because it is basically to take the feedback of the user point of view about the IMD services. And in fact, it's not just IMD, it is MOES institutions. So there will be there is participation from other service providers also under the Ministry of Sciences. So we would be really eager to know your views about our services. So expecting a very fruitful interactive session in the coming hours. Welcoming you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I'd like to introduce Dr. D.S. Pai. Dr. D.S. Pai obtained MSc in Physics from the Mahatma Gandhi University, Kottayam.
Just very brief and quickly.
Okay. So, I invite Dr. D.S. Pai, Scientist G, India Meteorological Department, for felicitation address. Sir, please.
Respected Dr. B. Ashok, IAS, today's chief guest, and Dr. M. Ravichandran sir, Honorable Secretary, MOES, Dr. Sudhir, Principal Secretary, KSCST, senior officers from MOES, IMD, and various sister organization from MOES, experts representing various stakeholders from the state. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and namaskaram. So today we are all gathered here for this very important stakeholders meeting on weather and climate services in Kerala and Lakshadweep, which we have been conducting in similar stakeholders meeting I have been conducting in various places within the country. Associated with all of you know that IMD is celebrating its 150th year of establishment. And associated with that, we have been conducting exhibition program for children in various parts, similarly stakeholders, interaction with the stakeholders, etc. So this is a part of such exercise, mainly to understand what is the view of stakeholders about IMD when IMD has completed 150 years. What about how they feel about services provided by IMD for their day-to-day work or decision-making system in the sector? What more they would like IMD to do in coming years? How we can more communicate or interact with everybody, those who are generating the information and as well as those who are finally consuming this information, so that this country can be made a weather ready and climate smart country. So that is the main aim of this type of exercise. Dear friend, already in the introduction, it was said that why IMD was established actually. Initially, the main aim was, when it established in 1875, just to coordinate various weather information taken in various provinces of the country. You know, under British India, we had several provinces. You also heard that before IMD came to, almost 90 years back itself, 1785, we had an observatory in Kolkata. We had an observatory in Chennai. Just after 10 years, after again 80 years before establishment. Even we have seen that in Trivandrum itself, it was there about 1836 or something. So there were already a lot of observatories were there in different provinces, but the issue was that the observation was taken, there was no standardization of the observation, instrument used was not standardized, the time of taking observation was not standardized. And there was a need to organize, standardize all this observation and bring under a central agency, so that this also data also can be used in monitoring as well as making controlling or can be made planning drought activities or eradication of drought type of situation, or as already was said. In 1864, we had a devastating cyclone in the eastern part of the country, causing a lot of deaths and loss of property. And subsequently, in 1856 and 1871, the failure of monsoon caused famine in that region. Again, we lost a lot of life. There was a lot of issue. So, how to tackle all these, events, and with the help of weather information. So, there was a need for a central agency, mainly to bring up all this observation together and archive data, and then you make use of in planning activity. That was the first purpose actually. But slowly there was need for weather and climate forecast. So you know that in 1886 itself we had started first monsoon forecast, which was the first in the world itself, such a effort to make a prediction. But that was a very crude type of method, just making use of Himalayan snow cover and connecting monsoon. But then subsequently we had developed several models, and today you can see that IMD is providing forecast, monsoon forecasting at a different time scale, etc. So to commemorate our 150 years of establishment, we had started in our last foundation day, 15th January 2024. Our Honorable Vice President had started this celebration function, and that was continuing 1 year. And all this function, stakeholders function I was mentioning, is a part of that celebration. So when looking back at IMD, you know that when we got established in 1875 as a modest organization, just to have an observation only, slowly we have become, today you will see that after completion of 150 years, IMD is one of the premier national meteorological services within the world itself. It is being recognized by WMO and everybody. And as a result, IMD not only providing the services nationally, in many regionally for South Asian countries, and this information also globally also being actually provided. We actually share information with the different countries. Now, during this 150 years, you will see that IMD has actually made a lot of changes in its all kind of activities, starting with the observation. And IMD is one of the, as you know, one of the oldest, not only the oldest scientific organization, it is also in the forefront of adopting new technology, contemporary technology. Whenever new technology came, it has been always made use of in our day-to-day working, whether it is an observation. So you can see that we started with the manual observation. Now slowly it has been automized observation. Or now we are making use of radar, remote sensing radar observation, wind profilers are being planned, and you know that even satellite observations are extensively used for our forecasting services. You will see that models are currently using almost 90% of the input as an input to the NWP models comes from the satellite. So IMD has been always in the forefront. So for example, another example is that in the telegraphic era, when it was started, IMD was the first organization to start weather messages sending to telegraphic, and even the warnings were sent to through telegraphic messages. And later, when electronic switching machines were adopted, IMD was the first organization to use that. And in recent time, when the mobile technology came for communicating our warnings and other things, we are using whatever latest technology, because it's this type of technological support is very essential, so to reach our product to the final users. Now, as we are progressing, we also found that we cannot work in alone in isolation. You also need to work with organizations which are also involved in various other related activities. For example, agriculture. The meteorological informations are extensively used in for planning, starting from its sowing to various stages of the agriculture, and even when it is harvested. So many times when crops are ready for harvest, and if a cyclone or any kind of heavy rainfalls are likely, the forecast given 1 week before and all generally helpful, very helpful, that timely that can be harvested and saved, that actually helps the farmers. So you will see that in each and every activity of the, whether it's a farming or other activity, even now the tourism, you will see that, or energy requirement, in everywhere the weather and climate information has become very important. Particularly this has become very important because of the recent warming climate and increase in the extreme rainfall, etc. So anyway, I am not talking too much, because we are keenly awaiting for other guests to actually from Secretary Saab hai, Dr. Ashok, all this we will be hearing from more from them. Anyway, this stakeholders meeting, as I was telling, very important that we all work together and generate all this information and help the people to making decision in each of these organization, in each of the sector. That's why this stakeholders meeting is very important. I'm sure that this one-day stakeholders meeting that we will have a lot of interaction with state, various agencies of the state, and we will understand how they are currently using the weather and climate information, and how what and all more they need, and how we can satisfy their requirement, and so that we can help state in various activity. With these words, let me end here. Once again, I welcome all of you for this stakeholders meeting. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable information. Now we have the IMD theme song being played on the occasion of 150 years of celebration of IMD.
आदित्य जायते विशीर
मौसम विभाग वंदे मौसम विभाग वंदे हम हर मौसम पढ़ने वाले मानव जीवन के रखवाले वसुधा परिवार हमारा है मौसम विज्ञान सहारा है
पृथ्वी की गतियों का विधान ऋतुओं का शाश्वत संविधान
जलवायु और पर्यावरण के परिवर्तन का ध्यान
आपदाओं से हो सतर्क सब IMD अभियान
ये मौसम ज्ञान पुरातन नवल विज्ञान प्रभावन
जल थल अंबर हर गांव नगर पर्वत घाटी जंगल सागर जीते हम संग फिजाओं के लाते संदेश हवाओं के
सही सहयोगी मित्र किसानों के, जन जीवन की मुस्कानों के, कर्तव्यनिष्ठ मौसम प्रहरी, जन सेवा में आस्था गहरी।
करते अध्ययन तूफानों के, नव चक्रवात अनुमानों के,
जन धन जीवन रहे सुरक्षित, मंथन अनुसंधान, मानवता के लिए समर्पित मौसम का विज्ञान, मानसून संज्ञान,
अपना ज्ञान पुरातन, अमर वरदान सुहावन।
वैदिक संस्कृति का नव विहान, ऋषि चाणक्य का अर्थ ज्ञान, कवि कालिदास के मेघदूत, आदित्य प्रभा के अग्रदूत,
मौसम उपग्रह का दिग्दर्शन, ऋतु चक्र प्रवर्तन विश्लेषण,
भारत के स्वर्णिम कल के लिए शुचि मन में दृढ़ संकल्प लिए,
साक्षी समृद्ध विरासत के, हम गौरव प्यारे भारत के,
पूर्व पश्चिम उत्तर दक्षिण शुभ कर्म योग संधान, सीमाओं के पार हमारी करुणा की पहचान, सहयोगी गुणगान,
ये मौसम ज्ञान पुरातन, अमर विज्ञान पुरातन। मौसम विभाग वंदे, मौसम विभाग वंदे, मौसम विभाग वंदे, मौसम विभाग वंदे।
Now, I would like to invite Principal Secretary to Government of Kerala, Professor K.P. Sudhir, Sir, to address the gathering. Sir, please.
Dr. Ravichandran, Secretary MOES, Government of India. My colleague in the government, Dr. B.A. Ashok, Agriculture Production Commissioner to the Government of Kerala, and also the Secretary to Agriculture Department. My good friend, Dr. Pai, Dr. Neeta, colleagues and friends. Very good morning to all of you. I'm very glad to note that IMD is organizing this stakeholder workshop, primarily to understand what is the requirement from IMD to the service, to the common man and the departments, what is expected from them and then what they have been doing. So a share of experiences and the requirement, if can be discussed, they can better equip for giving you the information accordingly. I remember a couple of years back, Dr. Pai and I organized a similar kind of workshop here when he was heading the Institute of Climate Change Studies, and most of the departments were there, and then we have got several suggestions from the stakeholders, and we were working on that. Now Pai has gone back to his parent organization, and Dr. Ravichandran has taken over from him. And now we continue to work on the Institute of Climate Change Studies as service in collaboration with IMD and other organizations as well. Primary responsibility of our institutes in the Department of Science and Technology, Government of Kerala, is to work, develop solutions based on research for the local problems which the state is facing. And primarily, I think most of the institutions under different departments in India as well as Government of Kerala work in that direction. It is not a pure academic organization, but it's a research organization primarily developing solutions. So I'm pretty sure that whatever inputs are required from IMD is very much available for all kinds of research activities for anybody, including myself in the state and also across the country, which is a very good initiative taken by the IMD. Primarily, I remember when I was a student, getting rainfall information from IMD was a humongous task. Now it's available on board. You can register and then get the information, download it. Thanks to the IMD people sitting here, and it's now become very easy for us to get the information. And they also provide, I remember when we were developing a flood forecasting system for one of the river basins in Kerala, we had to get the IMD forecast. So we were immediately given 21 ensembles of forecasts for the next 10 days at 3-hourly interval on a daily basis. and we used to use that information for running through hydraulic and hydrologic models to develop the flood inundation maps for a river basin. So this kind of coordination and collaboration for research community is possible only when the open-mindedness happen, and when you know what is your demand and what is your requirement, and then the other party knows about it. And I guess that is the purpose of this workshop, and I wish all the best for the workshop. Please do make sure that you participate in the discussion very effectively, express your requirement, and let the other party also know what they are available and then what can be made available. Thank you very much for inviting me here, and I wish all the best for the function.
Thank you, sir, for adding immense value to the event with your words and inspiring us. Now I would like to introduce our chief guest, Honorable Dr. B. Ashok IAS. Honorable Dr. B. Ashok IAS is an eminent educationist, writer, speaker, academician, and columnist. Dr. B. Ashok was the first Vice Chancellor of Kerala Veterinary University. He was a professor and registrar at Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth University in Kochi. A 1998 batch IAS officer, he served as Director, Central Department of Agriculture, Deputy Director, National Academy of Administration, Mussoorie, and Faculty of Mussoorie IAS Academy for over 15 years. He held the posts of Energy Secretary, KCB Chairman and Managing Director, and Water Resources Director. He holds a bachelor's degree in veterinary science from the University of Agriculture, a master's degree in water resources from University of London, master's degree in political science from University of Turin, Italy, master's degree in freshwater and coastal sciences from University of London. He obtained PhD in media and communication from Amrita University. He has published 5 books, including one of the history of veterinary science, several academic papers, and more than 1,000 articles. He is the president of the IAS Association. I invite our chief guest, Honorable Dr. B. Ashok IAS, the Agriculture Production Commissioner and Principal Secretary to the Government of Kerala, and Vice Chancellor, Kerala Agriculture University, in interim charge for the keynote address. Sir, please.
Thank you, Madam. Respected Chair of the meeting, Secretary to Government of India, Dr. Ravichandran, my colleague in the state government, all the other esteemed dignitaries in the dais, distinguished scientists and dear friends. Firstly, I'm sorry that I arrived like 25 minutes late. But the trouble was, being a stakeholder workshop and being one of the addresses, I was banking on the other colleagues to set the ball in motion. But it appears that all of them thought the same, and that the other would happen, that the other would commence with it. Doesn't matter. So I'll not take much of your time, but will stick to what I want to say. In fact, as an important stakeholder department, other than perhaps water resource and the disaster management department, for most of the time, but I would think that agriculture would be the more economically significant stakeholder from the state perspective. I will make the following observations. I hope the departmental representatives will make a presentation. I received a copy of the Agriculture Department's thoughts about the IMD's function with me. I was not immensely satisfied with what I saw, because normally a stakeholder department should critically review the availability of data, the quality of data observed, the forms in which it is. So such a critical evaluation is required from the part. I hope it will emerge during the meeting. The participants are here because, like, while we feel very good from from customary praise which we are used to in India, which we should do also, because IMD deserves a big pat and applause, having done 150 years of singular service to the nation. That part is well stated. But as men and women of science, everybody will know that unless a dispassionate critique is made on the status quo, the next step is invisible. So one has to do that. Unfortunately, the Agriculture Department, being one of the more lazy departments in government, they have joined the encomiums without without necessarily critically putting to test with what they are receiving, what they should receive, what is the global standard. These kind of inquisitives, I am sorry to say, are fast disappearing in provincial governments. Government of India may be sustaining it because your people tend to stay together in seats, and they will find ways and means of improving themselves, if at all, if not troubling the other. So there will be some challenge in building it. But normally states the leadership levels are occupied for 2 years, 3 years. So that is not sufficient residency to sort of invest yourself into substantially destructive, thinking destructive enough to create the new. That is my sort of analysis. So anyway, let it be. But I will restrict my comments to the following. Now, the State Department of Agriculture, as I said, is a fairly heavy user of IMD's output. And I have no comments on the enhancement you are doing at your data accumulation, your data collection capabilities, now, whether it is visual subjective data or sensor working at the crop level, or your macro pictures you generate from satellites. All of them fundamentally turn out into metrics, which are available across algorithms, which visualize things for you pretty good way. That is what Professor Sudhir said. When you are simply onto your iPhone, it gives you a default weather advisory. It is part of all software, almost all mobile platforms now, that it presents essential weather advisory at the, even without tapping it. You just have to ask your voice commander as to how the weather is shaping up. It will have its own projection. Or you ask any AI tool, ask very commonly used Perplexity as to what should I look out if I am driving to Kochi. It will have serial assumptions from millions of databases. So that is where it is not only what is in your fingertips, but it can intuit into weather not only around you but even distant from you. Even if you are I was in Bahrain for 2 days on a private visit. Before you go, you just ask Perplexity as to whether I should wear warm clothes or carry warm clothes. It immediately says whether the temperature forecast and humidity are as follows. So you can actually lose clothes. You can travel in your shirt sleeves. It is not at all required. Very intuitive way of telling you. So we are there. Now our key interest will come from one of the main results of very nuanced weather information, which is the weather-based crop insurance systems. As you know, I need not elaborate on the anthropogenic change to climate and what we are discussing. There are, as we all know, pessimists and advocates of the climate change. I tend to be an advocate from sheer experience, without even running through any of the long-range climatic prediction or IPCC or the detailed reports which are available in the field of science. Even from sheer intuition, if you are very honest about it, one can see that both anthropogenic influence on factors that modulate your weather, and the results are certainly increasing. One can always say that there is no association between A and B, and that is for a short-term phenomenon. Both are on the rise. There is no doubt about it, and the ability of particularly urban conglomerates, particularly commercial agriculture, to cope with these kind of rapid changes are being challenged year after year, and that would apply secularly to most parts of the world. One of the things which would secularly improve across time will be the costs of insuring, particularly the short-term crops, which are very vulnerable to threats of flooding, periodic extreme weather events, even rise in temperature, etc. So we are aware about it. Many countries are aware about it and are investing into both predictive systems that can, in the shortest way put,
predict the costs of insuring the loss a priori, which is very important, because if it makes a big difference whether the threat to the crop is like 20 to 30% of the total value, or whether it is closer to 70 to 80%. A high risk crop with a moderate risk crop, depending upon where it is cultivated and under what variables it is cultivated, gives a highly intuitive value to the insurer as well as the premium payer, which in many cases will be government, so that we know what will be the cost of cultivation. COC is influenced. So we are very interested there, and I am very happy to inform you that despite our limitations, we have invested heavily into informatics. So this is something which Dr. Ravichandran and IMD might like to look at. In fact, the presentation they have put together has about 6-7 slides which are important on that, and I would very much encourage your tech team to go through the architecture of the informatics we are laying into that. There are 27 modules, out of which about 7 are related to weather data processing. We are already accessing all your public data from your interfaces which you are providing. The visual graphic interfaces which IMD is providing the users already on the public platform. Our vendors are accessing it and giving it to us in suitable graphic presentations. The key humidity, rainfall, projections, details, long term, all are being visualized into the platform. Just to list, we are in a position to disperse with weather alerts, resultant pest alerts, crop stress advisories, irrigation forecasts. In irrigation also, I had opportunity when I was WR Secretary to put together a reasonably good database through a startup which came to us, and that is supposed to be having a reasonably good hydrological information base. Then extreme event warning and agro advisory services. So I will not elaborate on that. It will be profitable to look at the architecture of it, because we expect let us say 50 to 60% commissioning of modules in 25. So if there is a better fit between the huge sensorium you have developed, from satellites to underground sensors giving data in, and if there is a communication or a better sitting between the tech teams, possibly there is an opportunity to develop it as a very fine model of very nuanced dissemination. Because your chance is that we have 27.64 lakh farmers at the farmer registry side of it. This could increase to 30 to 32 lakhs, and that is, I think that is the total number of persons, stakeholders, so to say, the farmers. So therefore, if we can reach specifically through any instant digital means to 32 lakh people in Kerala, it's a valuable resource base. And these are potential users of insurance, potential users of pesticides, potential users of fertilizers, including micro fertilizers. So the whole concept is to develop it as a commercially viable platform at the moment, with general services which everybody can use being offered free of cost on the state, because we are putting some money into it, some 17 crores across 3 years. Our commercial partner is also investing, and therefore it's a revenue based platform whereby value added services like insurance will carry a small conveyance charge. So it's a gist of what we are doing, what we are attempting there. Probably, I personally believe that after looking at some of the comparable data repositories and exchanges done by Telangana, for instance, some of it available in other states, I think our design is possibly way ahead of it. Yesterday only we had presentations from Telangana on their data exchange, etc. But we thought ours is much more comprehensive, and looking forward way beyond the limitations which are imposed on state-specific systems. It even has a potential to expand into, should you increase the database access, it can even cover multi-state data if somebody chooses to do it later. So that is all I want to sort of emphasize here, worth looking at, because the unprecedented investment into data, which supports decision making in agriculture, is a great opportunity for IMD to test its rack of input data, its formidable computing abilities, which we are now even computing in India is thought to be a product of the needs of IMD rather than the needs of computing. You look at. So I congratulate IMD for engaging with stakeholders today. Sorry for a bit of late arrival here, and I look forward to
both hearing from the team which discusses details, and at a personal level I can leave an invitation with the IMD's team in Trivandrum to come over. I will be very happy to take you through the architecture in detail, because that will be interesting to you, because I personally believe that many of the states in India will try to copy versions of it, as you go along. Government of India came to us to, I'm sure you are aware about the farmer, crop and the land registries they are developing. Very simply put, GOI now wants to put every farmer in India to a registry with a unique identity, much like Aadhaar, and even linked with Aadhaar, because huge subsidies are playing across that particular database, and which is linked to the crop data, which is seasonal and periodic, and the land registries, because these are three variables. Farmers commence farming, go out of farming. Land comes into farming fold and ceases or goes out through mutations, and it's slightly complicated if you visualize that picture of how farmers come to farm in a particular land with a particular crop. That is a complex three-way variable which keeps happening, and which has immense commercial value, not only to food security at a macro scale, but even to the subsidy which flows. Just imagine if 1% of your PM Kisan 6,000 rupees per farmer is misdirected. Just 1%. What would be the taxpayers' loss? One can imagine. And if you get deep into those questions, you will how these repositories are structured. The land repository of the registration department, the moment you transfer land, mutate land, it does not necessarily reflect in the farming data. And therefore, but unfortunately, when a farmer dies, a question will arise. It's a very simple question as to whether the database should capture the legal heirs right away. Because see, the farmer dies, the registered farmer dies, the PMKSY ceases, whereas the legal heirs may be eligible or may not be eligible, in which case. So we are looking at these broad questions, whether you should put the legal heirs also into the database so that the transition is seamless, because after 3 months the PMKSY comes, the benefit will not reach. Or if you misadd the legal heirs, the subsidy will be misdirected. So we are seized with all these questions now. Fortunately, a lot of young bright people are working on it from our side in the department. So it will be very profitable for you to kindly spend some time with them and understand it. Personal level, I am totally available at director's call. We can sit separately and see how IMD can add value, plus how you can access the additional crop data which we have here, because I personally believe this is one piece of, not in self-praise, but over 2 years in agriculture, this is one piece of work which I am likely to be a little proud about. in that sense, because no state has attempted it at that scale, and also but it's a very tough job. We are probably at 25 to 30% of our requirement, but we are doing it. So this is the good news. I leave you to elaborate on this with all the other stakeholders. I wish the stakeholder workshop all the very best. Please do more such events, and let us become more useful to one another. My personal congratulations to Secretary and all officers of IMD, particularly the Director, who was very kind to invite me and even wait for me for some time. Sorry about getting late, but all the very best, and have a good day.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable feedback and also for setting a delight tone for the event. I request the dignitaries on the dais. To kindly release the souvenir. I would like to introduce our Honorable Secretary, Ministry of Earth Science, Dr. M. Ravichandran. Dr. M. Ravichandran has assumed the charge as Secretary, Ministry of Earth Science from 11th October 2021.
Okay. I think time is not there. We'll see later.
Okay.
Everybody knows.
I invite Honorable Dr. M. Ravichandran, sir, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Science, to address the gathering. Sir,
Thank you.
please.
Thank you. Dr. Ashok, Dr. Sudhir, Dr. Pai, Dr. Nita Gopal, and my colleagues and friends from various ministries, as well as state government, various stakeholders of weather and climate information from this state, and friends and colleagues. Very good morning to all of you. Of course, today's meeting is mainly to understand the stakeholders' requirement, especially weather and climate. So basically, we would like to get the information, because weather information is mainly different for different users. If you take about agriculture, what time and what is the uncertainty level is required. That is what we need to understand. See, some people, okay, 20 centimeter rainfall is fine. But some people, we have to know, or we have to tell them, what is this uncertainty? 20 centimeter means what is plus or minus how much? That is important. And similarly, if you talk about power people, so they require every half an hour, what is the weather information, maybe winds or solar energy, how much is available at different time scales. So I think it is very important in this particular state, especially Kerala and Lakshadweep, what is the each user's requirement in terms of time as well as the accuracy level, and also in turn in IMD we have to convey the message what is possible and what is not possible. I think from long over the 150 years, first of all, congratulations to IMD for spearheading 150 years. So we have come long way, but I know that weather is not very simple phenomena, especially in tropical weathers. Many of you know that it is very complex, and it is a complexity is involved in all directions. And having said that, of course, we need to, this is become more and more important, because now everybody wanted weather information, and this weather also is changing very rapidly. I always feel that earlier the weather information is a very large scale features occurs everywhere. Suppose a cloud forms about 100 or 200 kilometer scale in spatial. But now, because of the warming temperature and other things, the each weather information, whether or cloud patterns or everything is happening localized. So because of this localized, it is missing in our model, it is missing in observation, and we are failed miserably many times. But we need to go up with more and more observation, because now we have representative value of, earlier we had one representative value at 100 kilometers square. 100 kilometers square is enough. But now we need more and more. Even few kilometers square, every few kilometers square we need observation. It is a huge. It is very difficult to cope up with that many observation, because it is relatively, comparatively, it is like an exit poll. How many samples you have, that much you can have a prediction. That is number one. So that is one is sample size, and number two is understanding. The understanding also day by day, though we have lot of understanding about the weather phenomena, but the problem is it is also very dynamic. As I mentioned earlier, the spatial and temporal scales are changing over the period. It's a dynamic nature. So we need to, even the physics of everything changes. Earlier the water holding capacity of the atmosphere is different. Now it is totally different. Then the physics of atmosphere changes, and especially in Thiruvananthapuram type of place, where the sea breeze and land breeze is complicated, they modulate the weather pattern, it is much more complex. So I think we need to have more and more understanding. So we need more observations, and we need to have a better understanding, and also we need to model them. What we understand, we have to put into the model. Even though we are one of the global highest resolution global scale model available in the tropics, but we are not able to predict many weather phenomena. We are able to do considerably. I think one of the top 3 world meteorological centers, India among one. But we know, many of us we know how many times we fail, how many times we success. But actual problem is the tropical weather, the variabilities are very small. So hence is the difficulty in predictability. I think this user also has to understand what is how much it's possible to predict, or maybe how much uncertainty is there that they have to understand. It is our responsibility to tell to the user community how much is possible, how much is not possible. Having said that, we also need to get the what is called more and more, we need to have a discussion so that whether we can meet your expectation, various stakeholders' expectation in terms of weather forecast. Suppose if you tell that you give me millimeter accuracy of rainfall, means it is not possible. So that's why it is not possible. It is our responsibility to communicate to all the stakeholders. Of course, we need to go for the better way of dissemination. And I think one thing I am feel proud of is, as Principal Secretary mentioned, that in Kerala, also in Karnataka, the number of observations are very good. The sample size is very good. So hence, definitely I am sure that the forecast will improve in day by day, and moreover we need more and more, we need upper atmospheric observation, which is lagging. The number of radio sonde launches and other things are very small. I think we need to augment more and more. So that is why the Government of India recently, I think last month, we presented various problems in order to improve, how to improve weather forecast. I think government kindly agreed, and the new mission has been launched, the mission Mausam. In that mission, we are going to go for major number of observations, including radars and many other things we are planning in the coming years. I think it starts last month only, and definitely we will hope up with improving the weather forecast in the coming years. Of course, we have a lot of apps are there. Maybe I request all of you to go through Mausam app for the weather, as well as there is a Samudra app. Maybe many of you may not be knowing, it is developed by INCAIS. And today I came to know that today at about 9 o'clock, the Kallakadal reaching is Thiruvananthapuram. They have declared, and it is exactly, I was watching, I think 9:15 it has reached Kallakadal in Thiruvananthapuram. So that much in, of course, some places we are very perfect, and we are able to do various forecasts, not only from IMD, from INCAIS as well as NCS, because we look at all the what is called disaster related things, whether earthquake or tsunami or cyclone or various extreme rainfall or many other disaster related we are working in. And I look forward your various stakeholders input. We want to be specific. I want this. If it is not there, it is not useful. Suppose you are giving the weather information after 10 hours. So I don't require data. So that way I want very critical constructive things so that we can attempt that whether we will be able to meet your requirement or not. Though we are giving a regular forecast, but we need to go for very higher order. That's what, as the data driven things are available, we are not going to go forward with the numerical physics based numerical model, but also we are going for the data driven AI model so that we can fuse both numerical as well as AML, so that we can go for a localized forecast for better or improving various weather related things. I think I request all of you to go through the app and also give the feedback, and also I'm always urging the various stakeholders, please tell us what is your exact requirement, and also you understand from us what is we need more and more. From our people also we are trying to do what is the best we can provide the service. Ultimately the science is basically we need to translate the science to the services for the benefit of society. For that, how much we can work towards together. We need more and more discussion, more and more collaboration, so that collectively we can improve our forecast. That is the main objective of this stakeholders workshop. So I look forward to your feedback and suggestions so that we can improve in the coming years. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Your presence has truly added an aura of wisdom and grace to the occasion. I request Dr. D.S. Pai, Scientist G, India Meteorological Department, to kindly felicitate the guests.
It's a bit too much. Thank you, sir.
Arun sir to facilitate Dr. D.S. Pai. Now I invite Shri Arun Kumar VH, Scientist D, to deliver the vote of thanks. Sir, please.
Good morning, all of you. On behalf of India Meteorological Department, it's my honor and privilege to deliver this vote of thanks on this important occasion. First and foremost, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our Chief Guest, Honorable Dr. B. Ashok Sir, Ashok IAS, Agriculture Production Commissioner and Principal Secretary to the Government of Kerala. Sir, we are deeply grateful for your presence for your valuable sessions that you have shared. Your insights will help us to ensure that IMD will continue to serve all the stakeholders with accuracy and reliability. Thank you, sir. I would like to express our sincere thanks to Professor K.P. Sudhir sir, Principal Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Government of Kerala. He agreed to be the guest of honor within the short time span. So anyway, thanks for you, sir, also. I would also like to express our deepest gratitude to Honorable Dr. M. Ravichandran, Secretary, Minister of Earth Sciences. Sir, on behalf of IMD, I acknowledge your unwavering support and guidance, which have been instrumental in organizing this important stakeholder meeting. Thank you, sir. A special mention of thanks goes to Dr. D.S. Pai, Scientist G and Head, Agromet Advisory Services, IMD, for graciously agreeing to chair this session on a short notice and for your facilitation address. Sir, your expertise and dedication is invaluable, and we are truly grateful for your contribution in ensuring the success of today's meeting. Thank you, sir. I would also like to extend my sincere thanks to Srimati Nitha K. Gopal, Head of the Meteorological Center, Thiruvananthapuram. Your continuous advice, suggestions, and leadership have been instrumental in the preparation of this meeting. Thank you, ma'am. Though unable to attend due to official emergencies, I would like to extend a special thanks to our respected Director General of Meteorology, Dr. M. Mohapatra, for his continuous guidance and support, which were essential in making this event possible. Similarly, a special thanks goes to Dr. S. Balachandran, Head of Regional Med Center, Chennai, whose valuable advice and suggestions helped ensure the fruitful outcome of this meeting. Furthermore, I extend my sincere thanks to the senior officials from Headquarters IMD and Ministry of Earth Sciences and Department of Space and other various state and central government agencies who are attending this meeting. I would now like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all the officers and staff of Meteorological Center, Thiruvananthapuram. Your dedication and hard work over the past several days have been instrumental in ensuring the grand success of this meeting. Additionally, I extend my sincere thanks to the officials and staff from all other sub-offices of IMD across Kerala who contributed significantly to this meeting. I would also like to thank the members of the print and visual media for their coverage and support in making our work more visible to the public. Lastly, I would like to thank all the esteemed stakeholders present here today. Your active participation and continued collaboration are key to the success of IMD's mission. Finally, a big thank to the hotel management staff for providing us with excellent hospitality. Once again, thank you all for your presence and contributions today. Let us continue to work together toward a future of greater resilience, sustainability, and public service. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to inform that in the conference kit provided, there's a feedback form which can be scanned and provided, and there are limited number of hard copies also. So if required, please fill up the feedback before the panel discussion and hand it over, please. So kindly rise for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Now we may all proceed for the tea break for 10 minutes. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Okay.